Picture this. You're a new landlord excited about your real estate venture, and you walk into your rental property only to find a herd of goats chilling in the living room. Yes, goats. Now I know what you're thinking. Goats? In my living room? Surely you jest. But let me assure you, this isn't a wild countryside tale. In the unpredictable world of real estate, you'll often find yourself dealing with more than just leaky faucets and late rent payments. Sometimes you might walk into your rental property and find yourself facing a scene straight out of a farmyard fairy tale. Take our friend, Mr. Landlord, for instance. He was all excited about his new property, dreaming of the passive income that would soon be rolling in. But his dreams were quickly interrupted by the bleating of Billy the Goat and his friends, who had somehow become the unexpected tenants of his city apartment. Now, you might be chuckling at Mr. Landlord's predicament, but let's be honest, nobody wants to be in his shoes. This humorous yet entirely possible scenario underlines the importance of setting clear expectations right from the start. It's a stark reminder of why every landlord needs a solid lease agreement in place, one that clearly states no goats allowed, among other things. A comprehensive lease agreement is your first line of defense against such unexpected surprises. It sets the ground rules for your tenants and outlines the consequences if those rules are broken. It's like a roadmap guiding your tenants on how to behave, ensuring they take good care of your property, and yes, preventing them from turning your living room into a makeshift barnyard. Now, if you don't want to find yourself in a bawdy situation like this, stick around as we dive into the world of house flipping and managing tenants. Now that we've had our laugh, let's get serious about making money in real estate, starting with house flipping. House flipping is more than just buying a fixer-upper, slapping on a fresh coat of paint and selling for a massive profit. It's an art, a science, a dance of numbers and negotiation. So let's break it down into easy-to-follow steps. First, you need to find a suitable property. This is where research comes into play. Look for undervalued properties in up-and-coming neighborhoods, where the potential for growth is high. It's like finding a diamond in the rough. You just need to know where to look. Next, assess the renovation needs. This step is crucial because it directly affects your budget and profit margin. You'll want to inspect the property thoroughly, ideally with a professional contractor, to identify necessary repairs and improvements. Consider everything from the roof to the foundation. Calculating the costs is the next big step. Here, you'll add up the purchase price, renovation expenses, holding costs, and selling costs. Remember to account for unexpected expenses because in the world of house flipping, surprises are often expensive. Now comes the fun part, executing the renovation. This is where you transform your diamond in the rough into a sparkling gem. But remember, it's not about personal taste. Your goal is to appeal to the widest range of potential buyers. So, think neutral colors, modern finishes, and functional layouts. Finally, it's time to sell for profit. This is where all your hard work pays off. Set your selling price based on market trends and the property's upgraded value. And don't forget to celebrate when the deal is done. So there you have it, the art of house flipping in a nutshell. It's a game of strategy, patience, and a bit of luck. But with the right approach, it can be incredibly rewarding. And voila, you've flipped a house, but what if you want to hold on to it and become a landlord? Congratulations, you've flipped a house and now you want to rent it out. But becoming a landlord isn't just about collecting rent checks. Now, let's delve into the nitty-gritty of what it means to be a landlord. It's like embarking on a thrilling adventure where you're the captain of your ship, navigating through the exciting waters of property management. Sounds fun, huh? First up, screening tenants. This is your first line of defense. You want to ensure you're inviting responsible individuals into your property. This involves checking their credit history, employment status, and references. Think of it as online dating, but instead of finding love, you're finding the perfect tenant. Next, maintaining the property. This isn't just about keeping the lawn mowed and the gutters clean, it's about ensuring the property is safe and habitable. It's the landlord's responsibility to fix any health and safety hazards. So if there's a wasp nest forming on the porch, you're the one suiting up in the beekeeper gear. Dealing with repairs is another important aspect. Whether it's a leaky faucet or a broken window, as a landlord, it's your job to either fix it yourself or hire someone who can. Remember, a happy tenant is a long-term tenant, and nothing makes a tenant happier than a landlord who promptly responds to repair requests. Finally, navigating legal matters. This can be as simple as drafting a fair lease agreement, or as complex as understanding local landlord-tenant laws. It's crucial to know your rights and responsibilities to avoid potential litigation. If legalese isn't your forte, consider hiring a property lawyer. Becoming a landlord isn't just a financial investment, it's also a time and energy commitment. But with the right skills and mindset, you can make your real estate venture a rewarding experience. But what happens when you encounter a tenant who treats your property like a personal demolition derby? Well, stay tuned as we tackle that beast in the next segment. So, your tenant has suddenly decided they're in a rock band and your property is their concert venue. What do you do? Well, let's dive right into it. First things first, effective communication is key. You may be tempted to pull out your hair or scream into a pillow, but remember, it's essential to stay calm and professional. Contact your tenant and discuss the issue at hand. It could be that they're unaware of the disturbance they're causing. A simple conversation can often resolve many issues before they escalate. Next, document everything. This isn't just your everyday diary entry, it's vital to keep a record of every interaction and incident. Whether it's a late-night phone call about those impromptu rock concerts or a formal written complaint about the noise, keep a record. This documentation can serve as evidence if you need to take further action. Now, on to the law. It's crucial to know your legal rights as a landlord. Different regions have different regulations, so familiarize yourself with the local laws governing landlord-tenant relations. This knowledge will empower you to handle situations appropriately and legally. But what if all else fails, and the late-night rock concerts continue? Well, it may be time to start the eviction process. This should be a last resort, and it's important to follow the legal procedures to the letter. Remember, eviction isn't about revenge or teaching a lesson, it's about protecting your property and ensuring a peaceful environment for all tenants. Dealing with difficult tenants can be a challenge, but with the right approach, it's manageable. Maintain open lines of communication, keep detailed records, know your rights, and when necessary, don't be afraid to start the eviction process. Remember, as a landlord, you have rights too. But what if your tenant refuses to move out? Well, that's a discussion for our next scene. Tune in to find out how to handle such a situation. The rock band has refused to disband, and the tenant won't budge. It's time to talk eviction. The eviction process can seem daunting, but it's fairly straightforward. First off, serve your tenant with a notice. Make it clear why they're being evicted, whether it's for unpaid rent or a violated lease agreement. Next, if the tenant still doesn't pack their bags, you'll need to file for eviction with your local court. This involves filling out paperwork and paying a small fee. Then, it's court time. Both you and the tenant will attend a hearing, where a judge will make a decision. If you win, you'll receive a judgment for eviction. Finally, it's time to execute the eviction. With a judgment in hand, you can request that a sheriff or marshal forcibly remove the tenant if they still refuse to leave voluntarily. Evicting a tenant is never pleasant, but sometimes it's necessary. House flipping, becoming a landlord, dealing with tenants, we've covered quite a bit today. We dove into the world of house flipping, revealing the art behind transforming a fixer-upper into a dream home. We then ventured into the realm of landlordship, discussing the myriad of responsibilities that come with the territory. We also tackled the sometimes tricky terrain of tenant relationships, exploring strategies for managing those not-so-perfect tenants, and even delved into the eviction process, a last resort measure for when things just aren't working out. But let's not forget the underlying thread that binds all these elements together, a sense of humor. Because let's face it, in the world of real estate, you're bound to encounter a few hiccups along the way. So, remember, whether you're flipping houses or herding tenant goats, keep your sense of humor and your real estate ventures will be far from boring. Until next time.